Peace. Mm, 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 mm. The vibes is just amazing right now. I just know if that sound feeling so good. Oh my God. Or I'm just, let's give an honor to Source. Let's give an honor to the divine. Let's give an honor to the all, the oneness of everything. Man, if you ain't, what you doing? Let's give an honor to ancestors known and unknown. Probably will do without the glasses. Um, all those that came before us that set forth the stones, that set forth, both matriarchal and patriarchal. I give honor to even the distortion, even up to this moment, to prepare us for these very moments right now, because the all that is that's right now in this moment. This is a very pivotal moment for a lot of us. Whether a lot of us are karmically letting go of something and walking into something even greater, more expansive than we even knew that could be possible. So I'm here today to just even, like I said, expound or expand on a lot of which, like, it's such a beautiful moment for myself. At the same time, it seems very heavy, and I want to make sure that my phone do not overheat. I'm trying to think, is it going to get hot? Because if so, I'm gonna back it on up. It shouldn't get hot because I got it turned this way. Yeah. So anywho, yeah, these are some amazing like moments right now that we're all experiencing, and get first and foremost, shout out to Self-Care Sundays, and that means you. Successful Sundays, Self-Care Sundays. This is gonna be like the grand scheme of things right now. If you got up, was able to breathe, you have health, wherever you are, and you're able to simply speak, you're able to simply do something for yourself that someone else may not have the capacity or the mobility or the courage or even the mindset, the strength. That's one thing, that's a thing right there you can be so grateful for right now in these moments, that there's so much that we can be grateful for. There's so many things, our health, a sense of awareness, a sense of peace, no matter how much money you may have, no matter how much material things you may feel that you lack in an infinite universe, or a universe that's limitless. I'm reminded of the trees daily, or certain simple things that just remind me of, like, wow, I have so much. I have my imagination, I have my sense of awareness, I have, I can do things, I can get up. And it's not to devalue, discredit anyone. It's just simply like I can do things that most will complain about. So find something to be grateful for. Today, I do have another masterpiece, and I'm going to be giving another visual of what it is I am going to do. Oh man, it's right there. Okay. I know in my previous videos you hear me talk about a lot about, my recent ones, about a lot of emotional attachments, letting go and cutting cords, to things that no longer serve us, the programmings, the distortion of the father and mother, the dysfunctional families, the dysfunctionality, in its entirety, the grand scheme of things is how we've now are in a place of letting go, allowing it. A sister brought to my attention, how you lease a home or you lease something, you're contractually signing it. So I know people have used the term release, but we're letting go. It means allowing it to be, allow it to no longer serve us. But releasing something is like you're recycling or re-signing something. So we're letting go in this entirety. So my other previous videos talked about that. Make sure my phone is not heating up. Is it heating up? Okay, I'll make sure. What did I do? Okay. So, yeah, and in that, it's us knowing now, this is the beginning of your journey. Because when you're let go, this is a part of some can say spiritual healing or ascension. There's so many terms. I'm not here to debate on that. I'm just here to help aid you and share my own experiences and the oneness of it, and then be able to guide you back to yourself, guide you back to, loving yourself, honoring your emotions, no longer abandoning those parts of yourself. So those that are familiar with the heart chart. Now the heart chart. Oh my God, I love it. The heart chart, handy dandy heart chart. No, but for real, for those of you that aren't familiar, I was guided to get and create this heart. And as you see that we have heartstrings attached. These are heartstrings, and they're, scientifically, or if you can research this, we do have heartstrings in our body. And I've had people tell me stories about people, transitioning or passing because of their of heart breaking away. And I'm like, what? I do feel like and believe that those things are possible, depending on if the person is willing to heal, to change their trajectory or mindset, or to do the inner shadow work to allow themselves to heal those parts of themselves that they've abandoned. And more so, it can look different for people because some people have grown so attached, or they do have a love that is beyond this physical thing. And again, we have invisible heartstrings that connect us. That's that we don't realize that no matter the distance, no matter the time, the illusions, or whatever it is, there is something that connects us spiritually. And even in our heartstrings, we have these emotional attachments. So I was led to get this and create, come up with this heart chart to create this holistic masterpiece and healing for not only myself but for others, to show them the visualization of what I did is poke holes and use the yarn, to represent the and Dollar Tree. I be telling people, man, y'all don't be sleeping on. Use the resources that you have. But this yarn, it just came, and I just tied it up in the bag. But again, just to see the visual of this. And in my previous videos, I will show you how we have these emotional attachments, and attachments isn't love, because you cannot possess anything. Love isn't a possession. Love is a vibration. Love is something that is, some may say that it's a feeling, or I believe that all those things are connected in a way to help aid in what we feel. But I see love as just being something that's always accessible, always there, always not really ever. I won't say it's ever changing, because it's the truth, it's the authenticity. It's something that we've covered up so much, or due to our grief and pains, and due to things that have happened, which is a part of the human experience, is we've allowed our hearts to be blocked. We have our desires of the heart, so we have these things, and this I feel concerning like the heart chakras, and seeing what is keeping us from being lovable, and what is keeping us from accepting love and being love, honoring that love, seeing what's rooted in those abandonment issues, those trials and tribulations, those things that remind us so much of what has happened to us, and then how we move forward and what is happening for us. So that's why I'm here today, to tell you, like, now with my handy dandy chart. Watch the previous videos concerning this, but today, and I'm still going to use this as, like, if I feel led to, those things that we become accustomed, attached to, which I had to, even in myself, one of the greatest things were writing down people's names or writing down certain things that I was emotionally attached to, meaning that I was so replaying these things in my mind about what has happened and, with this person. And that keeps me from moving forward because I'm just replaying these things like a sitcom or like a series on a TV, and it's like consciously trying to make sense of it in my mind. And an emotion really only lasts for like 90 seconds. So it's so much rooted in not just this area, but you're talking about, the root chakra, things dealing with fear of love, fear of, things like doing things from a place of survival, amongst other things that, again, we have experienced here, but also now are transitioning through healing from cleansing ourselves from people, places, environments. And that's a lot to do with internalizing. I had to do a lot of inner healing, accepting my shadow, my fears around survival, around love and what I perceive to be love, the emotional attachments to like my mother, my father, relationships in the past that that really why was I so scared or afraid to let go, to free myself from this, and it guiding me to a place of self-love, loving myself, learning to parent or nurture the mother and father, or the feminine masculine energy within me, to balance that aspect of myself. So in that, again, my previous videos talks about these things, and everyone's going to perceive it and see it differently, visually, communicatively, amongst a lot of things. So even with that, I was also led to get these 3D stickers. Make sure this phone ain't getting hot. 3D stickers that I knew that eventually was going to, I didn't really know why, but it made a lot of sense. Because I tell people, I had to learn with my own self first, because I such thing with myself, sit with it, honor it, and then here you are. I have to sit with the present, see myself as a gift before I could share my gifts. Aha. But again, I don't know, I need to say this, but to be loved and love yourself is not a curse. We've grown up so much in the society, and that has so much confusion around what love and that word love and how it's been used and how it's been romanticized this distorted way on television and all these things. First and foremost, we never grew up in a society or environment, where we really honored ourselves. We didn't come from homes and backgrounds where we really loved ourselves, or that was a love language that we learned. And that determined our value. Our mothers and fathers teach, us our values of what it is. And what I mean by that is like, if their value wasn't centered in love or self-love, or rooted in self-love and honor things as such, then we are getting that mirror effect, or that reflection of what it is we're absorbing and learning through our eyes, and what we hear and what we're receiving, even picking up on the energy around them and seeing them interact with other men and or women, which is a reflection of the woman, the father and the mother, the feminine and masculine energies. All these things are in a way connected to what we are consciously and being subconsciously programmed. So again, your schools and these universities and a lot of these places never taught self-love and how to honor your emotions and how to be there for you first. It was more being there for others. Because see, some will use the term being selfish as and everyone can perceive it different ways, because selfless and selfish is in a way of like, you got to be there for you, and some people may see it as selfish. But those that honor and know this path of standing in your truth, that being selfless and being selfish in a way. My opinion or my perception of it is like, you have to be there for you, because who else is going to be there to where you can get that reciprocated in some type of connection and some type of relationship, partnership. That is important. So a lot of us are unlearning this program of how we have been in this distortion, how we have learned a false narrative of what it is to love, and pouring from an empty cup, per se. I like to use my my other 3D thing. Pouring. Look at my little 3D thing I got. Pouring. We've been pouring from an empty cup. You know what I'm saying? I'm just giving you a visual. Pouring from an empty cup. And we've had mothers and fathers, you know, people in our environments, tired mentally, spiritually, physically, and it's showing up in their bodies because they're not slowing down, and you know, they weren't taught what it is to really honor their nervous system, their bodies, their mental and spiritual, and seeing how important all of this is connected. So what is happening, you're seeing a lot of people being forced, you know, you're seeing a lot of things being, people forcing themselves to do something that they don't love. And it's not to say it's not a transition, but it looks different for everyone. You know, some may call it crazy. I went through that stage where I was so ostracized and so, what is the word, peer pressured into doing things that what others may seem like, what is a man and what isn't a man. You know, so much judgment, you know, unrighteously to, you know, project onto me from women that I knew, women and men and society that were not only, there wasn't rooted in their truth, there wasn't rooted in honesty and authenticity. It was more so rooted in shame and guilt of not fulfilling their own, or being fulfilled, or knowing what it is to be whole. So these were projections from their own fears, from their own survival of, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to, yeah. But who am I doing it for? Am I doing it for you? And then in that, hey, little B, well, look at there, Ashe. So in that, I'm just gonna let them be. But in that, we've been so programmed and criticized for so much of what we're not doing, rather than just simply showing up, just simply being ourselves, just by simply being, by simply breathing, by simply just successfully getting up, you know, successfully just making it through the day mentally. So there were so many things around that, and I'm gonna keep checking this phone, y'all, because I want to make sure it's not overheating. But in that, you know, you're learning, you're still, that inner child is still in there, that little you is still in there, that has learned all these things. Again, learning the survival, learning all these behaviors, these actions from others, and we don't realize we're unconsciously picking this up. And so I've learned so much to where the women in my family, no judgment there, but had I not stood in my truth in regards doing my art, standing in, holding tight to the vision, the faith, the unwavering faith, staying rooted as a tree in my truth, in my divine truth, whether they accepted it or not. That's one of the greatest challenges on your healing journey. And on this journey of self-love, of returning to love, that's what self-love is. It's like we've been so away from love, or God, source, the creator, which is a reflection of love. Source is a reflection of love. And we have blamed so much, or been blamed for so much of what we're not doing, to where we don't even see ourselves innocent and blameless as source does. So the lessons in that is like, that's where you have your karma and dharma. And so, you know, we're here to learn through those lessons and learn, you know, and really see that, are we willing to have that unwavering faith in ourselves, with the connection to source and with the connection to the divine, of how it is, and surrendering to what it is we should be and becoming. So in that, it's like that of a tree, of a flower, of, it's like trying to tell grass or trying to tell a tree how to grow, when to grow, where to grow. Or a flower, how fast you should grow. Or being concerned if the other flower is outgrowing them. Society, pay attention. The programming, pay attention. How to love, all these things you're seeing on TV, just like how to love, and all these we get so caught up in, and I've seen it so much. It's like you get so caught up in like the romance, them not really showing you like you're going to have confrontation energetically, like you're meeting people and going to meet people, and in meeting them, you're learning their love language, meaning whatever their upbringing is. It's like, it amazes me how like we used to go into some shit or go into something and just like so what it not gullible, but so is it no so what is the word, it's really like that of a child. But we used to go into things so vulnerable is a superpower. What is the term? So naive to so many things, but in reality, when you look at that, that's the innocence of who we are. Because it's natural for us to love. It's just so many things that have been blocked, so many things that have been programmed, so many things we have become accustomed to and attached ourselves to. The idea of love. Do you love me, or do you love the idea of me? Because to love me is to know me. And I know me better than anyone else. So for you to even love me, you have to know the depths of who you are in loving those aspects. And see, this is why a lot of us is like our hearts are so big, or we feel like, oh man, I love so big, and this person ain't this and this person ain't that. But let me tell you, that's not a curse. Because the ancients talked about through the heart. Our heart has chambers. Our heart holds things that, again, it's like a not like a magnifying glass, but in a way it's like our heart scan things in a way. So we're able to naturally pick up on those who have these blockages, or people that are empaths. You have, these are gifts. You have this for a reason, because energetically, frequency, those that are on that wavelength of you, or like pay attention to when you see a heart monitor thing. The heart thing, it's like a wavelength, and everyone is different, meaning that everyone has their own rhythm. But we've been so far away, or so not the word detached, so complacent with things that are not of love, or we've been so comfortable with things that are not love, that isn't in the resonance of love. And so we've been so, man, what is the word I'm just trying to come to me? We've been so I guess you can say drifting off. It's like so far away from love, from loving ourselves. How did that do that? So far away from loving ourselves to where now we're being forced to see the ugliest and darkest, but we're all beautiful, but basically the ugly truths or hidden truths of ourselves, the fears, all those things hidden, that we didn't want to see ancestrally. Our moms, our fathers, family, all those things that are in the shadow. This is what shadow work is. This is what facing ourself is, going inward to really see who we are, to know thyself, to show thyself approved. So in that, we're being forced to see ourselves, things purging up. So when these things energetically are coming up from the root, sacral and all like this, you're dealing with people. And I said this to other people. I've said like how you're meeting people that certain chakras or certain things in them, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, are blocked. But it's to aid you into clearing it, or guiding them to clearing it, karmically, to prepare for that which is in alignment with you. So imagine a person you're meeting, for instance, that they have this idea in their mind of love, but their heart is blocked. And that's what you're seeing. It's like, you know, people can talk about love and express their love to you, but have no love for themselves. So they have no love for you. Do I need to say that again? People will express from their minds, if their mind is not aligned with their heart, they will say so beautifully with their words, charming, how much it is that they love you. But in reality, their hearts are blocked, or they're emotionally blocked in a way to where there's nothing there. They're empty. And that's not their fault. This is what has happened because people have certain things due to betrayal, due to losses. And so that fear is rooted here in the root to where they're, it's not that they're not able energetically to love or receive love. It's that they don't see themselves deemed to be ready or accepting or even embracing those parts of themselves inside that they've abandoned. Because you have to decide. I had to decide that I will no longer abandon those parts of me that I know I need to love. So in loving that part of me, I need to face the fears, the little me, the 5-year-old me, the 3-year, not old, but, the me as 5 or, 3 or 2 or, those things that you can pick up on when you had those, where the trauma began. Not only just the great things, but no longer will those things be brushed up under the rug. So this is why a lot of us are feeling so, the heaviness, and this is why we become so light in our bodies, because we realize how much we've been carrying on ancestrally and carrying other people's burdens, and, and no longer will we be doing that. So this is why I create the heart chart, to let go of those attachments to your mother, to your father, to those that you was in connections and partnerships with, because it's you that must do this. They have to be willing to do the inner work to love themselves and face those very things and heal those things. And in that healing, or in that facing those things, you're letting go, but you're also, and I'm going to get to this. Are you ready? So I have my heart chart, but I wanted to show you the beauty of what I was here to do. Today, we are planting new seeds into aiding our healing. Oh yeah, I got this little pot thing too. Let me hold that up. It's like a little pot. So we're planting our heart right here. Planting our heart. Isn't that lovely? Planting our heart now in truth and love. The truth, can you accept the truth about yourself? And so I'm just placing these flowers on here to demonstrate how, now we're growing. We're choosing to grow from our pain, because our pain is our gain. And so we're choosing to no longer be, whether the criticism and all those things come about and people want to say this, we'll realize that they haven't did it in the work. They're wounded, or they're running from their healing, or they're running from the acknowledgement that they're hurting. And so you see that? Look at that. Ashe, give gratitude. I ain't worrying about I'm fixing the pot, but it doesn't matter. It's perfect as it is. But you see that? Now we're planting ourselves anew. And this is for a lot of you. A lot of you can be relocating. You know how if you can't leave old soil, Ashe. Meaning that a lot of us and people are going to relocate where we are appreciated, celebrated, embraced by those who have done the inner work. And this is not to discredit anyone. This is also to inspire those that are going through and will get through. Because I'm just simply a rainbow in your storm. And you too will be a rainbow in someone else's storm. But remember, they had to go through the storm to see the rainbow. They also had to endure the rain to be able to grow. So storms come perfectly in divine timing to shake shit up, to create chaos, only to help us either face ourselves, see the lesson in what we need to see there, and to grow from it. And that's all we can do. And in that, you have to be willing to choose it, because not everyone is. And see, that's where the self-worth comes in with this. Do you know your self-worth to be able to grow from your pain? Some people call it growing pains. But can you see your self-worth? This is self-worth now. We let go of the attachments, and now we can grow from it. Oh, yeah, and most importantly, let me show you this. This also came with the stickers, the 3D stickers. Now, this is where a lot of people have to realize, like, don't be confused about those who try to put on the front as if they're doing or have done it. No, it's not judgment. You can judge them righteously. And see, that's what comes in knowing your worth, is that I had to learn that it's like me assessing things and accepting things in myself. I'm able to recognize those who haven't. That doesn't mean I have to project or attack them, but I have to reassess and reaffirm my boundaries. No, that's not okay. No, I have no interest in that. No. And this goes to the narcissists. You know, this goes to the people who are emotionally abusers. You know, all those things, because you had to see those people and even become that. Because see, the thing about our versions of ourselves, they are who we are. See, we honor. It's in a way, it's like you honor, because people talk about, and I ain't gonna get too deep into this, you know, people talk about demons and angels and all this other stuff, but you have to acknowledge certain things in order for it, that spirit, that Jezebel spirit, you know, that succubus, incubus spirit, that jinn spirit, those things, you know, dispelling those and rebuking and casting away and down those spirits of like alcoholism, or, you know, things that you know that's in your family that you're choosing to let go of. And now you're choosing to heal your heart. You're choosing to come out of that, you know, letting go of that spirit of survival, and now coming into that spirit of prosperity, of abundance, of love, divine love. And in that, you have to stand in your truth. And when you go out into the world, you're representing yourself anew. They never knew you, because you had to take that old dirt, meaning weed out those old people. The Most High had to weed out those old people, that old dirt that you've been in so long and think that you were growing. And in reality, baby, no, love, brothers and sisters, no. It was drying up. And you're wondering, like, why am I not prospering? Why is this not happening? It's because what are you not seeing? What are you are afraid of? What are you running from? So now this comes back to the growth of, now we're going to daily pour into ourselves. Yes, we are. Daily. And some may call it parenting and all like that, but we're going to daily pour into ourselves. The sun is shining, so I'm trying to get a visual. That's what we're going to do. We're pouring into ourselves every day, every moment. And pouring into ourselves can look like simply resting, giving ourselves granting ourselves, giving ourselves that place to actually rest, go on a vacation, be with ourselves. Shit, simply breathing, taking 5 or 10 minutes, or taking whatever it is duration to just be, to just honor your emotions. That's watering yourself. Because it, like, you're gonna get caught up in people just posting stuff. That's a distraction. This is watering myself right now, because I'm able to assess this, demonstrate it. Like, I got up today, you know, not just immediately getting on the phone. I got up, I walked outside, put my feet to the ground. You know, I looked at the garden. That reminds me of my own growth and patience and consistency. And reminding myself that garden still needs to be watered. And at the same time, let me show you the beauty of it. You know how the storm comes and the rain comes? That's the universe, that's source. Reminding you that you don't have to do it alone. We're not here to do it alone. Source is reminding you, like, the rain comes also. That's a form of help. That's a form of assistance. See, I can water the garden. It may take a little more effort and more consistency. But it's in that consistency that sometimes you think your prayers haven't been answered, or you think your you know, what you put out into the universe, you know, cosmically hasn't been answered. Yes, it has. Nothing comes back void. So when you put it out there, it returns. Just not when you feel it should, but in a way it returns. And see, that's why I feel like when the rain comes, that's an overflow. That's a windfall of abundance. That's a windfall of, me being embraced, or the garden and, the seeds that have been planted. It's like, I asked for this, but you giving me all of this. Y'all better come on now. This is your Sunday sermon. This is your Sunday self-love. You know what I'm saying? This is your Sunday sermon for today. You know what I'm saying? And again, it's like you asked for this, but you're talking about the motherboard, the mother load of Big Mama. Ain't nothing little about Big Mama. You better look around. When Mama comes in, she's taking care of your needs beyond. She's taking care of you beyond your needs. And those of you that didn't have a mother, let me tell you this. There are women, when you do the inner work, mothers and sisters, and all of you, their Big Mama is telling you, this is that divine mother that's coming in to pour into you the love that you've always deserved, but you gotta first see it in you. But that doesn't mean she hasn't been showing you glimpses of women that, again, through our own trauma, through our own blockage, mentally, spiritually, physically, we have always been taken care of. We have always been loved. It's just things, people do show up and wanting to pour into us. But a lot of us have been so much in a place to where, are we lovable? Are you lovable? I had to get to that place to do so much of the healing. And then in that, every day now, I still have to what? Pour. I still have to pour into myself. I still have to pour into myself daily. As I heal my heart, I still have to do things to love myself more. Whether it's hugging a tree, whether it is taking me a walk, drinking water, making my favorite meal, or watching my favorite cartoon. All of those things are aspects of what some may call parenting, but I like to use the term of like loving on yourself, motherly and fatherly, like being your own guardian first. You had to get to that place. Again, this is what the greatest thing about being on a healing and self-love journey is like. You had to get to that place, to connect with the higher power of knowing that it's you. And then in that, then when you do that, there will be others that will align with you vibrationally, that will align and come along. And it's not about them taking. No, be ready for people to pour into you. It took a lot for me to even be open to help, because I've seen so much of the distortion and the dysfunction of, and I love my mother, my grandmother, but I've seen so much of how the false mother or the distorted mother, due to the programming or due to the father or the man not being there and them carrying those burdens and them carrying that, emotional burdens of what has happened to them. So they carry that, and rather being interconnected to source or learning more about who they are within, they avoid that, and that wounded masculine and feminine shows up. Due to what has happened to them with men, their wounding shows up in how they treat men. So that's a wounded masculine per se. And so what they do is that, this is that hyper independence. Oh, I got this. I can do this all by myself. And in reality, we are all here helping each other in a way. Same goes for me. And I learned those behaviors from those women to where it's like, I had to get to that place where, you become so burnt out and tired out. Oh, I gotta do this by myself. Oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. And in reality, I had to snap out of it as when I start to cut cords emotionally, those emotional attachments to my mother and grandmother and other women who I develop a connection with, and realize as I did the inner work and shadow work, crying, wondering why, healing through those abandonments, like, why couldn't my mom be there? Why couldn't this person be there? Why they don't love me a certain way? You know what I'm saying? And then, in reality, they never love themselves. Is it their fault? No. It's just everything stops with me. That's what you gotta know. It's you. Everything ends and begins with you daily, every moment, even after this video. Same thing with me. It doesn't, the healing doesn't stop just, after I just feel like I decided to just, walk away from people. No, I'm rebuilding and reassessing. I'm being restored right now. You're being restored with divine love and divine truth. And that's what I had to accept. It's like I couldn't no longer blame and point the finger about what it is I wasn't receiving. I had to learn to give it to myself. And then in that, I had to learn that. What it is can I give to me today? Can I give myself, can I grant myself that peace of mind? Can I grant myself that abundance and just being in the moment and accepting the uncertainty, the unknown, and knowing that I'm safe, I'm secure. And see, that's different for everyone because a lot of us are at different levels. A lot of us are at different places where, we're learning like from different places and different mindsets consciously to where now we are all, and that's the illusion of thinking that someone is above or ahead of you in a race. No. It's an equal playing field, and it always has been. It's just the illusion in the spell that, humanity is no longer, under. They're above it now. A lot of people are rising above. The phoenix is rising now. And so in that, you're choosing to rise from the very thing and everything that was sent to destroy you is what you signed up for. So those things in that, it's like, I'm like, wow. I had to experience so much of those painful moments, betrayals and things of others to where can you get to a place and say like, I had to get to within myself. It's like, they didn't betray me. They betrayed themselves. They didn't hurt me. They were hurting themselves. And it's like, and it's different for everyone. It's like, it's not to say people won't hurt you, but in reality, the reason being is because through societal standards or just through so much programming of the false narrative of what, or the distorted way of what the mother and father represented, we have allowed, in the past, we allowed so much of, become so attached, and through those attachment cause our suffering. Did you hear that? Like attaching, imagine holding on to something, knowing that if you don't let go, how would you be liberated? How would you actually be free? Or be liberated in yourself to know that someday, your mother, you came through your mother, you didn't come from her. The higher power, you were created to come through her. And in that coming through her, you picked up on what she was going through emotionally in her womb. What type of love she was experiencing while you were in her womb. What type of action she was demonstrating in her womb. And you were picking up on these things. Because a child is created and conceived and created. When people are coming together, the oneness, when you're together. But in the same aspect, when that creation is formed, being formed, that is the beginning in a way of not just when they come after in the physical. No, they're learning right there in the womb, everything. With like even with my princesses, it was just so beautiful how getting to that moment where you can hear her heartbeat. You're hearing a heartbeat inside of a womb. And again, I will tell people, like, I can't not just tell you, but it's just so much of seeing and hearing that experience. Creation. Like, yo, how magical is that? To see something be created in a womb, and you see that process. It's like a caterpillar. It's like a metamorphosis in a womb. To see something come so little and then expand. You were never small. You are not small. You're like a energy, science. You're like an atom. In the grand scheme of like the universe, or if somebody call it the multiverse or whatever you want to call it, you're something that like, it's at the same time it seems like you're so little, but at the same time you're so grand. Because you're a part of something that's so divine. So just the process of seeing how, again, having to heal, see those things in the dark, and now to be able to illuminate that or become enlightened on the things that just the more of awareness centered around what we're a part of. And it's so fucking beautiful because we're a part of something that sometimes the mind can't even fathom. But that's again where how we're a part of a creation that cannot really be put into words. So again, the beauty of going through this healing journey and seeing how can you acknowledge and recognize the things within yourself, and seeing how these people or these aspects of self, these old past versions of self, seeing how can you see you in those people? Can you see that they are hurting? Can you have a place of compassion? Can you see the growth within yourself to be able to see and have a place of grace and compassion for those that aren't able to grow or don't see their growth or don't see the innocence? Or you had to go through your spiritual warfare. Are you able to, see that this person too is going through their own spiritual warfare? Is going through their own. Can you send a prayer? Can you send love? Can you send healing to that person? Because we all been on both sides, or the polarity of things of seeing like I ain't always been here. I've always said some shit in the past that wasn't pleasant. But I had to check myself. I had to bring it back to me to see what's in me that's not accepting or embracing of them. Of hugging another man, of telling another man I love him, or being my brother's keeper, or letting other women that I know that is going through something, let them know like, hey, you okay? It's gonna be okay. Speaking to their inner child. Because everyone's heart isn't like yours. Everyone don't love the way you do. But are they wrong or right? Or it's really how the energy is playing out. But, does that give us a position to judge? Are we judges righteously? Are we holding ourselves accountable, but also holding them accountable? That's fucked up. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? That's the discipline of the Divine Father. The Divine Mother is still going to embrace and love. Is still going to accept us, whether we like it or not. This is what Big Mama is returning to show how we're all connected in some way, how we all have, some may say flaws, how we all have done shit. Because Source, in the grand scheme, are we all returning to Source? So a lot of these things are distractions to keep what? Fear or love. You gotta decide whether you stay in fear or whether you stay in love. Fear is face everything and run, or face everything and rise as the phoenix that you are. So in choosing that, it's your choice, your free will. Because not everyone can go where you're going. Not everyone, is willing to do that inner work. So do I have the compassion and the grace to just, let go and allow them to come into it, their free will on their own? It's just like a child when they learn, a baby gets up and it's learning to walk on its own. You don't teach a child how to walk. You don't teach them to become you. They already come in with this intelligence. We think we're really teaching people. And in reality, yes, we're teaching from our own awareness of consciousness or what we feel. And in a way, it's like, in being that teacher in a way, some of the greatest teachers, like myself, are some of the greatest students. Are you willing to be the student and not allow your ego to override, love? To where you're burnt out, and what you're seeing is with a lot of people. Ooh, boy, it's getting hot. I'm finna wrap it up. You know how the person in the back? All right, okay. But anywho, and that's the beauty of a lot of this is that we've all been in that place where we were loved by the ones that we grew up with. Yes, they loved us, but they only could love to the capacity, to the awareness of what they learned from others or what they perceived as love. So that's a journey in itself to have the courage to even return to self, to learn about love, to learn. And then returning to self, you have to see, you know how you see the word, you know, the word self, and then you see ourselves. Look at the word you, Y-O-U. Take the Y off, our. I mean, your. Oh my gosh. The word, I'm so confident in that shit. But look at the word, you got you, but it's getting back to what I was saying. Look at the word you, your. You take the Y off you, off your, and you have our. Then you take the R off your, and you have you. So in reality, it's like you, as I would tell people, your own universe. Meaning you, in your world, in my world, in my reality, is completely different from yours. You're going to see things that I may not see. You're going to perceive things differently, but does that make it not of love or coming from a place of love? So in reality, can we be so centered and secure within my self to where no matter how the world judges me, what I put out and what I'm doing and, you know, what I'm saying, I'm so secure. Can I be so secure in the root of love and truth, in my own truth and divine truth and love, to where that's not, you know, I know that my tree is going to prosper good, divine, righteous fruit. Why would I expect to hear great things from people who producing rotten fruit and don't have no knowledge that they're producing rotten fruit? Because they're leaning on to their own wisdom. And in reality, that wisdom comes in learning from others. That wisdom comes from mama, the waters. And so in that, we're seeing the beauty of how, again, the word ourselves is like, everyone is like an aspect of yourself in a way, a different version. So everyone is teaching you something, whether it's a little child or elder. And that's one thing I always pay attention to. When I look at this world and who y'all call leaders and whoever the pluck y'all call whatever, they're being judged righteously. They're going to be judged righteously, because look at how y'all fucking treat these kids that are innocent and these elders. So consumed by mundane shit that has no value. Do you even know your value? And then in that, you know, is your value centered in love? Is your value really rooted in love? And a lot of people, no, and that's the thing, you gotta accept. What do they tell you in an AA meeting? You know, for those of you that don't know, and you know, the kids or whatever. But anywho, the first thing they tell you to do in an AA meeting, I think that's like the alcoholism class. First thing they tell you to do is stand up and acknowledge what it is, like, acknowledge that you are alcoholic, or acknowledge that this is what spiritual warfare is. It's like you have to see those things that you know you're battling with, and see those spirits want to hide in the shadows. You know, those certain things that don't want you to let go of those, you know, generational curses, or, you know, break those generational chains. No, they want you to stay in those places so they can, you know, hide in the shadows, in the dark, where, you know, they don't want you to find and realize that you are the dark and you are the light as well. So you have to shine light on the things that the family are afraid of expressing, or they're hiding from, and now all these things are surfacing. So it's in you to choose who you want to be. Be you for you, or are you still trying to be you and people please for others? So it's a choice. And that's why I love kids. Like, they're so innocent, they're so unapologetic, they're so blunt, they're so honest, because they're so connected to source. They're so innocent. And so that's what a lot of us are trying to return to, reclaim the crown of glory of our innocence. And that's the healing. And then coming into knowing this, that's where the responsibility comes in, you sharing the message and being there for the youth that do not have this guidance, or do not receive, or will not receive that divine support. You know, don't see that example, or that, you know, see that in their lives. Because you represent a mother and a father, no matter who you are, no matter if you have biological kids. In a way, you represent and reflect whether the distorted mother, the shadow aspect of who you are, or the evolved aspect of who you are. You know, that beauty of the divine father and mother. And this is the energies that are here. You had to see what wasn't to be what is right now. See, that's the beauty of it. So, but it's your choosing. And remember, this is you. Now you're choosing to grow. You have let go of those things in the past. And most importantly, now you're going to water yourself every day. However that looks, you're going to water yourself. And in that, you're going to teach your kids what it is to water themselves, what it is to learn self-love, what it is to honor their emotions, what it is to be them in a world, no matter how they perceive them. Be you. Can you be you for you? Can you be honest and truthful with yourself that you're not concerned about how others view you or how others perceive you, whether it's a mother and father? Because I leave this with everyone. Who are you before the world told you who to be? Outside of your career, outside of your money, outside of all those things. Yeah, you have it. That's not, that's none of my business. But who are you to the depths? And how did you come to that place to where you are? Who are you before the world told you who to be? Who are you before your mother and father told you who to be? And the divine will reveal it to you. Who are you before the world told you who to be? Peace and bliss. Shalom.